All right, welcome to the Novice Sports Show. Again, a show where three guys came together organically to talk about sport. This is going to be episode something. Again, we won't stop. We'll never stop. We'll keep it moving. So, like I said, again, thank you for the views. If you're watching, please like, share, and subscribe. Because again, we're trying to grow the channel the proper way. And when we hit it big, don't come looking for us. Ain't that right? Because we're going to be driving Porsches and Lambos and enjoying life on the beach doing recordings. Because we're going to quit our day jobs.
We might have to make it remote because
Yeah.
I'm gonna be at the beach somewhere
That's fine.
off the grid.
That's fine. That's fine. Look, that's what we want to do. We want to get full of ourselves and flash our rollies
Yeah,
and all of that.
should do it. Should do it.
So we want to do that. So, but of course, we'll need your help so we can be arrogant later. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into our introductions. Like I said, we got my man,
AJ.
we got
Jay,
A-Dub. So this week, the internet streets have been chattering about things called super teams, right? So we decided to say, hey, what exactly is a super team, right? There's got to be a criteria built. Is it built on wins? Is it just on paper? Is it the actual team and how it gels? Is it coaching? What is it? Is it a dynasty? What terms, or what should I say, what defines a true super team? Because we've had teams in the 80s, i.e. the Celtics and the Lakers, right? The team of the 90s. You had the bad boy squad, and you had the Bulls. Then you moved to the Lakers, and then you had the Spurs. Then you had the Rockets. So, and all these teams are talented, right? Because they all had a big three before they was quote unquote a big three. Then, of course, you had my squad, Miami. When LeBron came, they called that, and that's when they started talking about super teams, right? So, so now they're talking about Boston being a super team, and I don't know how true that is. I don't see it. I see they won a title. That's all I see. But so what y'all got?
Man, we throw around these terms
Yeah.
so loosely. Super team, superstar.
Yep.
I'm like, look, just being a really good player, being a really good team does not make you a super team. Winning a championship does not make you a super team.
winning one championship.
Exactly.
Yeah, one.
Yeah. And so does the Celtics currently have probably the best assembled roster? I would say yes.
Mhm.
Did they win it last year? Yes.
Barely.
Have they been, going to the Eastern Conference
that
Finals every year? Yes. But you got to do more than win one.
Mhm.
And how many people on that team are bona fide Hall of Fame, first ballot, no doubt? I don't see one yet.
I said maybe one, and the key word is maybe.
Yeah. I mean, they still have long careers ahead of
Yeah.
them. But at this point, they've been playing for a minute.
Yeah.
And if you tell me, is this player a Hall of Famer, guaranteed?
Mhm.
I'm not sure
See,
yet.
like I said, that's the whole point, though, right? Think about it. Let's think about it. Okay, so let's do a comparison. All right, the Celtic team of the day versus the Celtic team of the old, and we're gonna pick Pierce.
Well, you know what?
Rondo.
Let's do this. Let's do three Celtic teams.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to go Bird, Parrish, McHale, that team in the 80s.
Then you're gonna do.
Then we go to, was it 2000?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2000.
Rondo.
Rondo,
Pierce.
Durant.
Yeah.
Garnett, Ray Allen,
And Pierce.
and Paul Pierce.
Then
And then we got this group,
we got this group.
Which
which
So,
has
Drew
Brown
Holiday.
and Tatum.
Holiday,
okay.
Brown,
So
Tatum,
which one of those?
Porzingis,
Out of those,
and
just saying. So out of those three Celtics teams, which one would you want? I don't know about you, but I'm going with the guy from Indiana.
Give me the one. Ooh.
I'm serious.
Winning wise,
Winning
I'm
wise?
taking Bird.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going with Bird.
But if I had to go off just
Mhm.
that nostalgic feeling,
You going with the
give me
second.
Pierce.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Give me Pierce, Garnett, and Rondo.
because you look at
Allen.
it, we get in these conversations about could the teams from back in the day, how
Yeah.
could they compete? We're just looking at who did they beat then?
Yeah.
What did it look like then?
Yeah.
What are those resumes of those players?
Mhm.
So Bird, everybody has him as an all-time great. Back then, he was the dude,
Yeah.
winning multiple MVPs.
Yeah.
Parrish,
Chiefs.
along with LeBron and Kareem, probably played more games than anybody. more years than anybody. He was just solid.
No.
Back then when it was a big man league, like
Yep.
he was the defensive, he wasn't scoring points, you know, but he
Rebounds
was
and
just
blocks.
solid and he just anchored you.
Mhm.
And then you got Kevin McHale, who people say, Charles Barkley said he was the toughest guy he ever had to play against back when he was in his prime. Just the master of like post moves, like that people can't even do now. Like he was just so fundamental.
Squeeze him in when he leans back.
Oh.
You can't see him.
I'm good. I just see it.
Yeah, because when you lean back, you disappear.
But you know, so those teams, Danny Ainge, you know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
really good
I couldn't
teams
stand
that just battled, right?
Yep.
But I love that, you know, Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rondo. Rondo was like young Ray John Rondo. That was Pierce's team. They brought in Garnett. They brought in Ray Allen. That's when Ray Allen became like the sniper, the 3-point
That's it.
marksman.
UConn.
But that team, if you think about it, that team didn't really have like lasting. You know what I'm saying? They won the one
They have
title.
longevity.
Oh, they won 2 titles.
Nah.
They just won the one.
They
didn't
came close.
And
to
then,
winning
and
the
then,
second
and then, yeah, because they had to play the Lakers and they had that overtime and everybody was shooting air balls.
Nah, I think they only made it
Yeah,
to
they
one
had-
final because they couldn't beat LeBron after that.
The Heat out there, yeah.
Yeah. But I love that team. And when I think of like,
Grit.
but I think of like big three, like that team, and then you put Rondo in there, it made it really a big four. You had the tough guy, his team can score, you know, Paul Pierce. You got, you know, Garnett, who's like the alpha defense, can score, tough, you know, whatever you need. And then you got Rondo, who's just back then was just
A
super
general.
great
Yeah,
point guard, general.
high
And then
IQ.
Ray Allen, your sharpshooter, slasher.
Caught up in the corner.
Man, like that's that team. I
That's what I'm
love
saying.
that team.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, so
So
again,
just look at those Celtics teams compared to this Boston team.
and actually,
I'm not that impressed.
Yeah,
well, see, not only am I not impressed, but like I said, well, you mentioned something, right? Who is the true, we talked about this before, who is the true alpha on that team?
It looks like Drew Holiday.
You know, I know,
It looks like Drew Holiday at this point.
and it is switched from Drew Holiday from Brown, right? Because Brown was the one going off last year, going crazy, saying, trying to get the MVP. Who is it?
It's Tatum's team.
Yeah,
we know
Tatum.
who's-
He's the
Because
golden
they've
boy.
already-
He's
yeah,
the golden
They have
boy.
already anointed
Yeah,
him.
we said he is, but who is the alpha?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
see,
You know, I can give you the team. That don't mean you the alpha.
see, I mean, that's
That's all I'm saying.
you
But
know.
see, but you said something distinctively, right? Everybody had their part in that 4. You had your point guard, the guy,
Rondo, yeah.
Yep.
you had your assassin, and you had your alpha. The one who would talk trash, you better get this right.
And,
or
it, and,
you know,
and you know what's funny
So-
is though it was Pierce's team,
yeah.
I think Kevin Garnett was the alpha.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
I agree.
he was. Oh, yeah.
Okay, okay.
He was the
is.
vocal, like the
Yeah.
fiery
Now
one.
I'm comparing it to Jason Tatum. It's
Yeah.
Paul Pierce, but
Something-
Brown I feel like vocalizes the Kevin Garnett role.
Okay,
So
okay.
why you may assume, and not saying that you're wrong.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, just like,
That's why I think some people may say that Jason Tatum isn't an alpha because he's not as vocal. But I also don't think Jason Tatum is as aggressive as a player.
And see, and I don't know
I
if,
agree, and I agree with that statement because when we were talking about the finals last year, it was Brown, Holiday, White, Zingas. It was somebody else until the last game. That's when
Tatum seems to settle sometimes
yeah.
when I don't want him to.
Well, he didn't seem, like you said, he wasn't as aggressive, like I said, because think about it, okay, this is the last 7 games of the year. What you got to lose? To me, right? You're gonna put it all on the line. It seemed like he wasn't putting it on the line. And again, this is all appearances. There's a whole, I don't know. But to me, from what I was watching, it looked like he was not the aggressor in any of those until the last. And that's when he put up, because he averaged under 20 until that last game, if I recall.
he was putting up numbers, he just wasn't putting up
He's inconsistent
what you
sometimes.
think.
Yeah,
what
he
you-
should have been
you know,
putting up.
what
Like
you
I said,
think the
under 20.
top
He
guy
averaged
was.
over 20 in that last game. Ask me how I know. I lost money again.
Gotcha. But when they were talking about him,
Yeah.
he was averaging, what was he averaging, 18?
Yeah, 18.
But he was averaging like 18, 11 and
Yeah,
8.
it was
Like,
just something
still putting up
impressive.
numbers,
Yeah, it's not
but
bad.
not what you would think like
From a
the
one.
guy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
From a,
When we think of the guy, we think of Luca.
Well,
31,
yeah.
10, and 10.
I'm gonna pack this sack, throw it on my back.
Jason
y'all
Tatum
try
is
to
gonna
get-
give you
He gonna
18,
give, he
7,
gonna give you,
9,
he gonna give you, he gonna
win.
give you them quiet numbers that you don't, that add up at the night.
Yeah,
That's
that
what
doesn't
you're saying.
strike you sometimes.
He could put up 20 and you would be like, when did he get these 20 points? So yeah,
Well-
that's what you're saying. It's like a quiet 20. It's solid.
Well, we're gonna see this year because
Mhm.
I went into the season saying Tatum was gonna be the MVP
You did.
because he got
Uh,
a chip on his shoulder from the Olympics. And he's tired of everybody saying it's Brown's team. He's tired of everybody bringing it up to him that he didn't win the MVP. He's really salty about the Olympics and about him not even getting to play. So I was like, he's gonna come out and he's gonna average 30. He's gonna be extra aggressive. Now the team is still doing really well.
They are.
I haven't really paid that much attention to his individual stats. They shoot a ton of threes.
they do.
So, they're gonna break all the 3-point shooting records this year as far as attempts. But I won't be shocked if he ends up the MVP when it's all said and done, because I think he's just gonna make it a point to prove to everyone. Now, does that help them? Do they win another title? We'll see. But
It's
I
hard.
think he's gonna really try hard to be the MVP
Okay.
to prove people wrong.
Hey, Dub, you had mentioned earlier that the Heat was considered a super team.
Yeah.
What do you, what
Well,
are your,
see-
what's your take?
Okay, so and again, that's how they coined it. This is where the real stuff started happening. Because before that, we had teams with all this talent on it,
We
right?
do.
So when they said when LeBron made that decision to go to Miami, that's when they were like, oh, it's a super team because they got D-Wade, Bosh, and Brown, three of the best players in the league, all on one team, right? And again, it was a big controversy, blah, 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 blah. They should go undefeated. They should do this. They should do that. Blibbity, 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 blibbity. You're like, they ain't played yet. How could this even be a super team? But I think they were just salty, me personally, with the fact of the way he made the decision. But
Yeah,
like I said, but
Yeah,
I
that
was definitely one of those people like, that's a super
you know,
team.
So
I mean, like I said,
that's
'cause, I mean, to
crazy.
me, I mean, like I said, okay, because remember, okay,
That
I'm
was
gonna
crazy.
talk about, that team only had to think about it. They got Ray Allen, right? Remember?
later.
They got
Later.
Ray
Yeah.
Allen later. So they didn't have Ray Allen,
They
right?
didn't have
They
James,
just
they
had,
didn't have a lot of people.
they didn't have, it was just them three. And with any team, quote unquote, that's a super team, you need all five pieces in basketball. You need at least a supporting role in these two guys. And Udonis Haslem was not that guy.
For the 4 position, I think that was kind of, you could place people in there. You got your Mike Miller, you got your James Jones, you
Yeah,
got
and what did that do?
you got Norris Cole at the
Hold on.
1, you got Mario Chalmers at the,
And what did that do?
it did a lot.
No, not in the first year.
Well,
Well, the first,
no.
yeah,
The first year
was,
did because they crushed
Yeah.
people in the regular season.
everybody,
I'm talking, look,
But
I
when
don't
it
care
came-
what you do.
When it came down to the
Playoffs.
finals, LeBron hadn't figured out yet
That it's
that
his
I'm
team.
the man.
Well,
He
he
was
deferred
like,
to D-Wade.
D-Wade, this is your team. I'll just
Your
do whatever you
franchise,
need."
yeah.
But again, going back to but they had donned them a super team, right?
Yes.
And they lost to the Mavs, I believe.
Well, I think the reason they number one is because they were free agents when they did it.
Yeah, all of them.
Right.
Mhm.
I guess Wade wasn't because he
No,
was
no,
already
he was
there.
already-
But LeBron and Bosh, their contracts were up.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Wade's contract was up
Yeah.
because they all came
Stay
in
there
the same
to
year.
take less money.
They all came the same year, yeah. So that's why people were salty because they were like, it was something that hadn't really been seen. You hadn't seen it before.
And then, hold on, and also to interject right quick, we had never, first off, Brown was already putting up numbers with a bad team.
Well, he
Then
was-
you put him with Dwayne Wade.
yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yes, we're calling that a super team.
Okay.
I'm just saying, at the time, in that time period, yes, we're calling
They called it a super team because he had 3 max
Not
kid
players,
people in their prime
Yeah.
coming to play together, right?
Yeah, but,
But again, I could say it takes like A-Dub said, it takes more than 3 dudes
Yeah.
to make a
I
super
mean,
team. But because you got 3 max dudes, I can see why people would say it. But when you look at Bosh was not the dude he was in Toronto
no.
because you can't be because you only have one basketball.
thank you.
And he ain't bringing it up.
LeBron was clearly the best player in the league then.
And he
Already had 2 MVPs.
that was 2 people, right? That's 2 players right there.
So, D Wade had already won his own title.
Right.
Two.
No, one at that point.
One at that, yeah.
With Miami.
Yeah.
And so he was like one of the best players in the league.
Still,
Bosh was putting up crazy numbers in Toronto.
Yeah.
So I get it. You put those three together on the same team. People were mad because back in the day, people would always say, well, I'm not joining up with you. I want to
Right.
beat you, blah, blah, blah. That's because times were different. You couldn't move around like that.
No free agency.
And I'm going to go with this. I'm going to change subject just a little bit. It drives me crazy when people say, when Magic says, when Jordan says, when Kobe says, and when Bird says, oh, I never would have left. I never would have. Guess what?
For that kind of money.
No. Why would you have to leave?
Because everybody wants.
You're playing on a winning
See.
franchise. You
big
have a
franchise.
Hall of Fame coach. You have Hall of Fame teammates, and you're winning championships. Why do you leave that?
Hold on.
Right, that is true.
Is it good point? Like I said, why would you leave when everything's up? They want to come play with you. Is what you're saying. So basically, you don't need to go play with them because.
I mean, nobody wanted to go to Cleveland.
But
Exactly.
Cleveland wasn't. Well, I'll say this. But
No,
yeah,
nobody wants to go to Cleveland.
That's why
regardless.
LeBron. Listen,
That's what I'm
LeBron
saying.
never would have left,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
he couldn't get Wade and Bosh to
They
come to
come,
Cleveland.
Yeah. See, that's my point.
right.
So why would you want to go to a unstoried franchise? It's easy to get to this point. It's easy to go to LA. It's easy to go to the Celtics.
It is.
It's easy to go to teams where they've won multiple championships because they have the what?
The foundation's
The
already there.
foundation and story. They already know what it takes to win. Going to the Clippers,
So yeah, the opposite.
the opposite. You going for a paycheck. But anyway, but we getting off a little bit off the topic.
But that's the whole point, though.
Yeah.
Those other Jordan didn't have to leave because everything he needed was right there.
Or they got it for him.
Right. But again, you got Hall of Fame coaches, you got organization in place.
Mhm.
Kobe wanted to leave the Lakers
Yeah, he was about
when
to.
they were not winning
He was about to.
because he was like, man, I'm ready to go to New York.
Mhm.
He didn't. But again, nobody wants to talk about that. They just want to hate on Bron. He stayed in Cleveland for 7 years, like everybody does.
Sure did.
First contract, second contract.
And they gave him
And-
zero.
And he's
help.
like, my legacy is built on championships. I can't get people to come here. Oh, well, you should have just stayed there and won it. Because no, nobody can do that.
Hold up.
Nobody's ever done that.
Hold up. Oh, okay, so you can ask Barkley about that
Yep.
because he was at 76ers for a while till he went to Arizona because the 76ers would always get to the semis, never the finals, at least, or did they?
No, they never made it to the
So
finals.
they would get to the playoffs. He'd have great numbers, but he had no help.
Right.
And Charles was good when he was young. And they sent him over to Cleveland. They gave him some help. And he had Kevin Johnson and Marley and all those other guys, and they made it to the finals. Right?
Right.
So yeah, I was just like, yeah, so and again, and I get it, because we're from a different era where you stayed and there was no free agency. So that's part of it too. So you could build around a guy. You can't call it, to me, you can't call it a super team when these guys get together, because again, you need all the parts to work. You need the coaching, you need the foundation in place, and then you can go, yeah. And
It literally has to be a good situation.
yeah, good, not only a good situation, but I mean, because Chicago wasn't a good situation until Michael made it into one.
No, Chicago wasn't a good situation until they got Phil Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And then Phil Jackson said, let's bring in Scottie Pippen, let's draft him,
Let's
let's
draft
draft Horace Grant.
Yeah.
Again, Hall of Fame coach
Yeah, you gotta
With-
have those things.
Knowledge.
with Hall of Fame players and a ownership that will
Well-
do what it takes to win equals championships.
Or at least good
Hold
results.
on. No, not only that, but that equals what? Because for me to be a super team, you gotta establish your dominance over a length of time. You just can't be like, oh, because everybody talks about one and done, one ring and you're done. That's not a super team.
So what's crazy is before we actually jump into who we think the super team is, I mean, if we're talking about a big three,
Mhm.
even though this big three on paper is one of the best, didn't play like long. I don't know a big three that's better than Harden, Kyrie, and KD.
That's a good point. But the only thing is they were young,
Yep.
right?
Young.
That's the only
No,
reason.
no, no. Kyrie, Harden, and KD. Brooklyn.
Oh, God.
They didn't play long.
That
They didn't
one-
play
no, no,
long.
Sorry, yeah, I misunderstood what you
They
said.
didn't play
I
long.
thought about OKC.
Yeah.
That's when, so now we're in the era of you want to, well, it's kind of away from it now because the way they changed the rules, where you want to have a big three.
Right.
Right? So they're not really talking about super teams as much, they're talking about big three. So like Phoenix got Durant and Booker and they brought in Beal.
Bill, yeah.
That was supposed to be their big three. You know, KD, Harden, Kyrie, supposed to be their big three.
Russ, LeBron, AD.
Supposed to be a big three, right? Yes. You know, everybody tried to get it, and that started with the Heat, really, where you were, then people could move around, you could get who you wanted. I thought you were talking about OKC when
Which
they had
they had a good,
KD,
yes.
young Harden.
I was gonna
and
bring them
young
up.
Russ.
Right. I was gonna, and really, they really had a good four.
They had
Because Serge Ibaka was
Ibaka,
really
yeah.
good during that
Ibaka
time.
was your-
Ibaka, Russell, KD, and Harden.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
So
Yeah.
They had a good, and
But you're right, but they were just too young.
Yeah,
And by the time they had a chance to mature,
they was gone.
Durant said, I'm gonna go to the real super team.
Well,
which is
before that even happened,
Mhm.
they weren't trying to give Harden his role.
Well, Harden didn't have a role,
He didn't have a
definitely.
role.
Right.
Yeah, so he came in, but see, you gotta remember.
So he left.
He went to Houston and averaged 40.
Not only did he leave, but you gotta remember whose team that was. Whose team was that?
I think at that time it was
Wait, which team
KD.
you talking about?
OKC.
Okay, I thought it was KD.
It was KD's team.
It was supposed to be KD's team,
Yeah, and so Harden's taking all the shine.
but Westbrook was like,
He's going off too, though.
no, Westbrook was like, nah, I think it's my team. And that's why they couldn't really, because it's like, end of the game, we need Durant to be taking this shot.
But you're taking them.
Westbrook's like, nah, I'm good. I can take
I'm
this
good
shot.
too. I'm dead.
Harden
You're not.
was the third wheel.
Yes, he was.
And he was like, you know what? I think I'm as good as these dudes. I'm gonna go to Houston. I'm gonna average 40. I'm gonna revolutionize the two guard position by making up moves that nobody's ever seen before.
And taking 12 steps.
Step backs and side steps and all this stuff, and pounding the rock till the shot clock runs down.
0-0-0.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's crazy is to just throw this in there right quick because, and this is just a side note that me and you, we've all had conversations about if I feel like Harden's better than Dwayne Wade, blah, blah. In a interview, on a podcast, I'm not gonna say the only reason, one of the reasons that Harden went to Houston was because Dwayne Wade told him during the Olympics that you're good enough to have your own team.
Okay, I got you.
And other players
You
as
need
well.
to get out from the
You need to get
shadow.
out, yes.
Well, I mean, he might have been good, but I think sometimes in being an elite player, you got to know how to use the pieces around you.
For sure.
See, and I think at the time, and again, he was an elite player, but you can't take 900 shots. You can't go. You gotta, even with Luka, right? He dishes the ball. He'll get 8-9 assists.
Well, no, Harden was leading the league in assists.
because you know how
Yeah.
I feel about Luka and Harden.
Harden
They're
was
the same thing.
Yeah, they're very
I'll say
similar.
Very similar.
In my opinion, toward the end of the game, he would be taking some ill-advised shots when people just take the two. You ain't got to jack the three up here. You ain't got to dribble.
When you that guy, you can do whatever you
Yeah,
want.
I think Harden.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
That cost them
It did.
games.
It did.
That cost them games in the playoffs. That cost them games. And that's what it was. It was just like Harden about to be Harden. Let him dribble. Let everybody else get uninvolved.
I will say
And
that.
he'll be dribbling around, dribble, step back three. Okay, that's fine. Keep doing that.
Well, but here's the thing: playoff basketball is different
It's
than regular
different.
season
And
basketball.
that's what I'm saying. So as an elite player,
Well, but you got to figure out, because he's averaging 40 and he's also averaging 12 assists. So the numbers
What was
are
a
there.
walking double-double?
But in the playoffs, things slow down a little bit. You get a little tight.
We know your gimmicks.
Yeah. And so it's a little different. And then
See,
sometimes you
hold on.
need the supporting cast to step
To
up.
step
too.
up,
and that's
yeah,
the
which
thing.
didn't
But,
happen.
you can't do that if you got the ball in your hand. You're not dishing.
Yeah, but
Well-
that's how they made their.
But see,
That was the foundation of their play.
Yeah.
okay. If they're playing, then again, this is Antoine's knock. A-Dub's knock on Hart. He ain't playing no defense.
That's
Well,
true.
that's very true.
That's
So,
very true. You know
there
that's
you
something
go.
I will agree
But
to.
that's something another thing that him and Luca got in common.
Yes.
He don't play no defense. So
Yes.
so again, elite guards or elite two guards, and you gotta
give me some on defense.
give me something on defense.
At least give me some effort.
Yes.
And he'd be
At
like,
least foul somebody.
Try to get in somebody's way.
so so I said all that to say.
Who is the real super team?
Well, I mean, like I said, it depends. I think it depends on the era because again, we talk about different styles of basketball, right?
You right?
So you can't say one team is better than the other if you know, all these guys are athletes. Maybe they're better athletes now because of training, diet, and year round taking care of their bodies versus guys smoking cigars and drinking, which they still do. They just do it in a limited fashion. So if you're talking, I'd have to say 80s, you're looking at super team being the Lakers or the Celtics, right? Because it was either one of
Oh, you're going from the 80s and up. Okay,
80s and
okay,
up,
okay.
90s.
So Lakers, Celtics, Pistons.
Yeah, yep, yeah. So then you get Chicago.
And then, no,
then after
so that's the
Chicago-
And really, I take it back because the Pistons won theirs in
They
the
were just
early
yeah.
they were
90s.
They were bad.
So yeah.
So you
But
look-
that was in the early 90s. So
the
let's
early-
say, yeah, Pistons, Lakers and Celtics were the
80s.
two teams that ran the 80s.
Yeah,
90s.
90s. You're looking at the Pistons.
Pistons.
Early Pistons, because they
Yeah.
won two.
Then you're looking
Bulls.
at the Bulls.
Clearly the Bulls
So that
were the
was
best
Bulls.
team.
And then you're looking. Then you.
And then let's go 2000s.
Well,
And then
see,
we'll start in
well,
2010.
see, but okay, so now you start talking not really super teams because San Antonio won some, Houston won some, then
Well, Houston was in the 90s
90, okay.
because they won those two
Two, yeah.
when
Jordan was out.
Jordan was out.
Okay, all right.
But again, nobody's gonna look at that team. They were a really good team. They had the
Yeah.
best player on the planet, and
Yeah.
Elijah one
Yeah, but that
probably.
was it, yeah.
But they had him and then a bunch of guys around him.
Lakers,
Yep.
2000s.
You're talking about
Shaq,
Shaq Kobe, and Ori and Fisher.
So what they won three
won three.
during that time.
Yeah.
But again, you look at that, they had two
Dominant.
superstar dominant players,
Kobe.
and then a bunch of other dudes
Role
that
players.
were really good
You're right.
and knew their role
Yeah.
and they had what?
Phil Jackson.
Hall of Fame coach,
See, and think
Hall
about
of
it.
Fame
So when you think
organization.
about it, and you talk, and we just to mention, right? Who did you had Pat Riley,
Pat Riley.
and you had who was it?
You had Red Auerbach.
Red Auerbach. So
You gotta throw Popovich in there.
Well, we're going in order.
Oh, go now, okay.
Yeah.
Then you
Then in
look
the
at
90s, you got Chuck Daly with the
Hall of Fame
Pistons.
coaching again.
Yep.
Then you have Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson,
again.
the Bulls.
Again.
Then you got
He ain't never.
Bulls.
then you got the Bulls. Then you got those other teams, and then now I'm talking about the 2000s,
Now
right?
you got Popovich.
So now you got Popovich and that dynasty with the Twin Towers.
But what's crazy about
and all those
Popovich,
guys.
like that's a dynasty,
Yeah.
but they never won back to back.
Never.
Isn't that crazy,
Yeah,
right?
they would win
But-
one, lose one.
But
yeah.
they had so early years they had David Robinson,
And
Tim Duncan.
Yep.
Then they had Ginobili and Parker, and then young Kawhi
Yep.
was really the best player on the back end team.
Yep.
And I mean, even I hate, and maybe this is the hot take. Danny Green.
Oh, well.
You gotta throw him in there.
And again, but that was on the back end.
Okay.
And he played great. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but he was also on the Lakers team that
Yeah,
won
he
it.
was, yeah.
But
Go Carolina.
but you just gotta look. What do all those teams have in common?
Great coach.
Every one of them got Hall of Fame coach,
Mhm.
Hall of Fame players,
Yep.
and it's a great organization. That's why you're not gonna ever hear Charlotte in this conversation. You're not gonna hear the Hornets. You're not gonna hear Toronto. You're not gonna hear
The Minnesota Wolves.
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Sorry,
Be-
Ant-Man.
Because they don't have all of those pieces. And when you look at all of these that we're talking about that may be super teams or maybe just great teams,
Yeah.
they all had every one of those components. You can't name me one. I'm about to name one. When the Heat got to their big three,
Yeah.
Spolstra,
Yeah,
Was not a Hall of
Was
Fame coach.
not
No,
a-
not at the
but
time.
no. Think about it. Who was his mentor?
well, he was up in he won't coach it. Well,
No,
he
no,
did coach that one
Yeah,
year.
come on up, but think about
I
it.
mean, but you could say the same thing about the Celtics with the coach they have now and
was it
Danny.
Baca?
Not
What's his name?
who's in the box now
In the
And come about
for the Celtics?
is it? Oh, now it's
Oh, you talking
Brad
about
Stevens.
Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
So you could say, I mean, I
Well,
could
no,
argue the same.
but Brad Stevens is a Hall of Fame coach.
No, he was a Hall of Fame college.
College,
No, I'm just saying, like,
But he-
he was a good
He
coach.
put together, but he
No,
put together a good
what
organization.
I'm saying is, in Spoelstra's case, he had the tutelage of a Hall of Fame coach.
Okay.
So basically, he handpicked him. He was like, okay, and I'm sure he was whispering in his ear.
Gotcha. I see what you're
You know,
saying.
see what I'm saying? So it's different when I'm whispering in your ear versus a Hall of Fame.
Versus the
The
master.
master's whispering in your ear. He's going, you need to get the ball down low. You need to do this. That they're going to be expecting it. So it's different when you got that kind of
That is
tutelage.
true.
But even with that, Pat Riley's not on the sideline
Sideline.
in
Yeah,
games,
I
right?
know he's not on the game.
Yeah.
I'm sure he is telling them, be prepared for
He got an
this.
opinion. He has
Yeah,
a
he has
major
very opinion. I'm sure he talks to him. He said, look, man, Game 5, they're gonna do this.
Yeah.
This is a repeat of this because it helps. Like I said, that'd be like talking to Chuck Daly, talking to Red Auerbach, saying,
Having that
"Hey,
knowledge.
having that knowledge base." So that's the difference between the coach in what is it? The one in the one in Boston right now.
Missoula.
Yeah, Missoula, but see,
Joe, I just
yeah,
know his
Joe,
first name is
yeah,
Joe.
Joe Missoula, but see, he's only won one, so he's not even in. To me, that's not a super team. They just won one. As we just plainly stated, there was a dynasty, but they never won one back to back.
And though Joe, because I don't know how to pronounce his last name,
Good luck.
put them over the top. In my opinion, what I'm about to compare,
Mhm.
is very comparable. Mark Jackson, Ume,
Okay,
Steve Kerr,
okay,
Joe Mazzulla.
okay, hang on though, hang on though, hang on
No, you didn't.
hang on now.
I'm trying to say Mike Jackson built the.
There
built
was,
the Warriors.
well,
I'm being silly.
he started,
I mean,
he was there when the foundation started,
He was pouring the cement.
but there
Yes.
was,
He was
but
pouring the
listen,
cement.
he was the groundwork.
but they let him go
He sure did.
for a whole different reason than they let
Yeah,
you go.
I get it, I
Right?
get it, I get it.
He was.
Steve Kerr look, you got to think about who Steve Kerr's tutelage came from. Not Pat Riley,
Jackson.
Phil Jackson, and Popovich.
Yep.
Two of the greatest of all time, right? And then you just so happened to get this team that Mark Jackson has said, got some pretty good pieces here. And then the organization was like, okay, see you, goodbye. All right, let's see what you can do with this. And guess what? Steph became Steph, Clay became Clay, Draymond became Draymond, and then
Just needed a few more people.
and then
And you make the big call.
well, that's what I'm saying. That's what set them over the top to be possibly
The super team.
because you got a team that's already
Here we go.
winning titles, that's already dominant,
Mhm.
and then you put the most dominant player. That's why when people try to compare, to me, there's no comparison. Durant going to the Warriors, LeBron going to the Heat, because the Heat hadn't won jack.
Yeah,
They were bad. They won that one title when Shaq was there, but that was 4 years prior to that.
As
They
though,
weren't even making the playoffs.
though it was different cases. I do agree to that. I mean, Bron and KD were still at that time when they left. Those were the two most impactful players in the league.
100%. But one of them went to a team that didn't exist and tried to
Right,
make
I
a
get that,
team.
right, I
The
get
other one went to a team
That was
that was
already
I'm saying the cases
already
are
a champion.
different,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah, because yeah.
But what I'm saying, but again, that's the whole point. You could take who's the best player in the league right now?
Joe.
I mean,
And then-
pick somebody. Yeah, just
See,
let's
okay,
just
right now, based upon stats, it's one.
let's go
two,
Joker.
five.
Let's go Joker.
let's say it's Joker,
So
right?
it's just Joker.
You can't just take Joker and say, "Hey, Joker,
Go to
we're
Cleveland.
gonna take you to we're gonna
We're gonna take you to
we're gonna
first
put
team.
you in Boston."
No, we're gonna
Right?
We're gonna do something worse.
That would be the equivalent. Is we say, okay, we're gonna get rid of Horford. We're putting Joker
That's
in
true.
Boston.
I get what you're saying.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
But I'm
for
just
sure.
saying, you taking the best player, arguably,
Right.
and putting him on the team that's already the best team
Right.
that just won a championship.
So the odds go up.
That's a whole different
Now my
story.
question is, because we never talked about this and we never even thought about this. If the roles were reversed, if KD went to the Heat, Bron goes to the Warriors.
I mean, the exact same thing.
No, at that time.
Well, no.
Do they win more?
No. Okay, so you
You
talk.
can't win more. They won both of them that KD was there for.
No. If
No. Okay,
take KD out of it,
Okay.
but Bron goes to the Warriors, and then KD when Bron went to the Heat, KD ends up going to the Heat.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Okay,
makes
okay,
sense.
so you have to remember, okay, that would be a younger version of KD.
KD, it would be. It
So
would be.
You're not going to get the same production you would get from the KD that went to the
You
Warriors.
think so?
No,
No,
because he
no.
was young.
Yeah.
Think about it. That was the same KD that was on OKC with everybody else. So
I don't think mentally he could put
That's
himself
what I'm
over the hump,
saying.
but
So he
production.
He's not. Listen. He's not LeBron. You think about what LeBron did on those Heat teams. He was the best defensive player on
He
the
was.
planet.
He was.
He was the most
He
unstoppable
was
offensive
everything. He was
player.
everything.
And he passes the ball. He gets his teammates involved. The Mike Millers of the world and the Shane Battiers,
They're not getting the ball to
they're
KD.
not getting the ball from KD like that. And
They shouldn't even think about
so
getting
it's
the
a
ball.
little different.
You're right, you're right.
Skill
So
set.
again, that's not a skill set, but what you're
The play style, just
not even the play style. It's just about okay. That LeBron had already been in the league 7 years, right? So you take
He
him,
knew what it took to get
he
over the
knew
hump.
when you get over the hump, because he had been in the conference finals like twice, right? Against the Celtics.
Yeah.
Once or- I don't know.
Once or twice,
Once or
and they
twice.
gave him zero help. Zero help. But I
Yeah,
thought
you
even
give me a Lamborghini?
yeah, they gave him a Lamborghini. They give me one. But yeah, so but what I'm saying is, okay, so then you're talking about KD, who would be a very young KD, right? So he wouldn't have had, let's say, when was it? Trying to think.
How far are they? 3 years apart?
Something like that.
Yeah, 3 years apart. So
3 years,
you
4
getting
years.
him. So that would be his third year. So he would still be under contract. So they would have had to draft.
But think about this. Let's just say you take
Okay.
the KD, the exact KD
Yeah.
that his contract ended in OKC,
Okay.
went to the Warriors, 7 years in.
Okay.
Take that 7 year KD, put him with Miami.
He
It's
put him-
not as successful
He didn't.
as the 7 year
he didn't-
LeBron.
That's what I was asking. That's what,
But
because he
if
didn't
you,
play-
but imagine if you took the 7 year LeBron
Put him on that.
and put him on that Warriors
you know what I'm
team.
saying? How many did they win?
They still won if LeBron leaves after 2 years, they only win it. You know what I'm saying? KD, they won until he got hurt.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
won everyone he was there for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Like,
okay, I
I
see
think-
what
I
you're
think-
saying.
you can't do any
You can't
better.
do any better. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think he probably would still have been there instead of leaving. Because LeBron is not that guy you punch in the face.
Well, first
Wait,
of
say
all,
that again.
first of all,
I said, I
Draymond
think-
not talking to bro like that.
That's what I'm saying. So
Anyway.
that's what I'm saying. So you're not talking, KD, no, sorry.
Draymond
Draymond is not talking
Talking
to LeBron the way he talked to
talking to
KD.
KD.
I
And
got
he's
you.
not talking about him like
I
that.
got you.
Because he's gonna be like, what?
I got you.
You forgot where I grew up at.
I got
Not even that. I got the,
He said he gonna do this.
I got the league on my phone.
No, he gonna be like this. He gonna wear a t-shirt. Something crazy about Michigan State.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Ohio State.
No, why are you wearing an Ohio State shirt? Why are you wearing a Michigan shirt? I don't know. I think Michigan's my team now.
Yeah.
I think somebody else might need to go visit Michigan.
Yeah.
What do you mean? They gonna be playing in Detroit.
Yeah. You must be
Nigga,
shit.
you got to be shipped out.
But think about it though. The KD that went to the Warriors
Mhm.
is the most unstoppable offensive force we've probably ever seen. But and then he was actually a good defender.
I'm
Like,
about to say he was
he was playing good defense. They might have been better with him than they would have been with LeBron because LeBron's gonna be passing the ball too much. KD was like, KD on that team,
He was like, give me the
KD was like, when I get it, I'm scoring.
What Bron say? Zero dart 30 mode. That's what KD was
KD was
every
all- every
game.
game. Because you already had, everybody else.
Yep.
They brought KD in to be just the killer
assassin.
that's gonna just
See, and he
that
took
nobody has an answer for.
And if you think about it, and I'm not saying that he was never classified this as his nickname, but that whole year, that whole tenure that he was with the Warriors, all you heard was Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
You didn't hear it nowhere else.
Oh, the Slim Reaper.
Yeah, Slim Reaper.
Yeah,
Slim
yeah,
Reaper.
Yeah, because he would come in at the end and yeah.
I mean,
Just
that
put
team
that
was,
knife in your heart.
I mean, but think about it. They're already the best team in the world. And you bring in the dude that's unstoppable, that's at the peak of his,
Hold
I
up.
mean,
And he had a motive. And he had a
and he was
motive.
He
motivated
wanted to win that ring.
to win.
Yep.
Oh, man. I mean, so to me, of all of these teams, a lot of really good teams, super team
The Warriors.
is that one.
Okay.
Because the Bulls teams that won all those in a row, three and
No, they weren't a
and-
super team.
but what I'm saying is
I mean, when
they're not a super team. They
Really
got this
good
great
team. They
player,
have a depth. They
a
have depth.
great the
Great-
world's greatest Batman, the
Yeah.
greatest Robin,
Yeah.
and then a bunch of other pieces, and the Zen Master Phil Jackson.
They had the Teen Titans.
But Phil Jackson did his mind tricks to make everything work, and everybody knew their role,
Yep.
and it was perfect. And if they needed a player, they go to
Go get one.
Europe and find Tony Kukoc. If they needed a big man, they knew they got Rodman. They lost Horace Grant, they got Rodman. They needed this, they brought in this.
They went to the
They
guy.
needed a shooter, they just,
They got Kerr.
and that's where,
J. Rob was it BJ Armstrong?
that was in the early years.
Yeah.
But they just, like I said, I'll tell anybody, if you just look player to player, team to team, coach to coach, they all have the same thing in common. And that's superstar players, Hall of Fame coach, great organization, and then the role players that
They know their role.
that's why, even though KD and Kyrie and Harden were all in their prime, were all great, they didn't have the coach, they didn't have the organization, they didn't know their roles.
Because that team was awesome. I mean, it really was.
What
I
team,
thought
what team?
Oakland. No, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
OKC.
OKC.
Who was their coach?
Which one?
The
Which
one
one?
where they had Ibaka and everybody.
That was, what's his name? Brooks? Was it
Was it Scott Brooks? Yes, it was Scott
Scott
Brooks.
Brooks?
Yeah, because I mean, God, I was just like, they could just keep that together.
And it's just so hard because it's so difficult because you're young.
Mhm.
And when,
Mm.
and then, like I said, then there was friction about whose team is it, who's going to get the ball at the end. And that's why the Heat didn't win that first
first year,
year.
Because
Yeah.
Because
nobody.
LeBron was like, you take it.
No,
And D Rose was like,
Like,
D
no.
Wade was like, okay, but you really should be the one taking it. Me, really? Nah, I'm good.
Boss is sitting in the corner,
Yeah, and Bosh like, hey,
wide
I'll-
open.
I
I'll
wonder
take the
if
shot.
OKC is going through a little repeat because OKC is good now, but they're really young.
Yeah,
And they're right there, but they won't get over the hump.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
I think they're set up for all their pieces to be.
I think OKC's teams now, 1 through 10, dogs.
Okay. And
Versus the
that-
KD team,
that
1 through
helps you.
about 5 or
yeah,
7.
that helps you when you got that, and the West is, I'm not gonna say it's watered down,
It's a little
but
watered down.
it's very,
Watered down.
Spread out.
what's the word? Parity. You got a lot of parity,
Yes.
right? And
A
so,
lot of things on paper that don't correlate to
Translate.
who's OKC's coach? I don't even know.
There we go. Look,
I don't know his name.
get up.
I don't know his name off the top
Not
of
just
my
say-
head.
But I can't think who the coach is.
City's coach.
But the pieces that they have in place
They look good.
look really
They
good.
look good. I mean, for a young team, they did really well last year. I mean, I thought.
Mark, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's DAIGNEAULT.
He's another dude. He walked in right now. I wouldn't know who he is. And
Yeah,
I've never paid attention to their coaches.
yeah, me either. I said it fortunately. So, yeah.
Let's see,
Well, he better figure something out because he goes as far as they go when they lose in that conference champion game, he'll be out of a job. I
Yeah,
guarantee you.
for sure.
Because I mean, they don't like that.
But you think about it, Boston, it took them some time to get over the hump.
Yeah.
Once
mean, it
you-
does, but
once
I
you,
think-
and the team is just so young.
Mhm.
Like, last year, just like the Timberwolves, right?
Yeah.
I don't see them doing what they did last year. I think they either take a step back
Take
or
a
they got to
step back. They take a step back.
figure it out. OKC, they're growing together. The West isn't loaded like it,
But at
like it has
what
been.
point does your point guard leave?
When his contract's up.
Well, when everybody always does a 7, and then you have a chance to leave if you want to, but he's not leaving if they can get a championship or if
That
they
is true.
can, or if it's still looking like because that's typical, like that's why they're saying Giannis might be out the door because he's getting tired. Now he does have the one title, which makes it easier for him to leave, but he's getting frustrated because they're like, why aren't we better? Why aren't we, we making these moves?
We know why you ain't better.
Well, that's one of them examples of when you don't have the coach
Yeah. I
and
mean,
the
like I said,
organization.
Don't they, isn't Doc still up there?
Oh, yeah.
But he ain't the coach.
But he don't need to be. Doc be killing teams. No.
He is not the coach.
No disrespect. No more than I know. But so with that, so talking about all the stats and greatness, we're gonna do our, or should I say these two are gonna talk about the way too early MVP race. So we got your boy Giannis, who we just literally mentioned, who may not be
Yeah, I don't know how happy he is.
next year. How happy he is.
So that's Jay's pick right now, right?
So yes, right now we currently look at the year that Giannis is having. He's having one of the best years he's had since being in the league.
Mhm.
And they're starting to figure it out as far as the team.
So then of course.
I think he should be in the hunt.
Mhm.
He shouldn't be under 3. But I think he does have a good chance of winning it, especially if they end up gaining some more traction with the team.
When Giannis is healthy, he's top 3 every year. Like he'd have been top 3 last year
He was
and
out.
maybe won it,
Sure.
but he got hurt, right?
Right.
So he should be fresh.
But the man that I got as the MVP is the
Somebody that
Joker.
needs some help.
Is the Joker. Like this dude, I'm digging the beard, man. He got the beard look. It makes him look like he's in more shape or something, man. It makes him look tougher. For some reason, he doesn't look as soft in the middle as he did when he rocking the beard. Looked like he's been out in the woods somewhere.
Chopping wood.
Yeah, he looked like Rocky from Rocky IV.
Yeah, have you seen
Out there in the woods, lifting
that?
logs and running through the snow.
Spunk? It's with the Red Robin. It's with Red Robin, the Wolf, and all that. Spunkelmeyer, is that the what's
I know you're talking about the
Sputnik?
no, it's like a food thing, right? And then
It's like when the wolf gets the girl and all that. He reminds me of the person that's
Oh,
chopping the axe.
the wood. No, he's talking about Little Red Riding Hood and the
Yeah.
guy kicked the
What?
door in.
What? He,
That guy with the axe who killed.
is it
the
Wink?
wolf.
Is it
no, that's like
Hoodwink? Is it Hoodwink?
Oh, you talking
Oh, you
about?
talking about the
the
cart,
movie.
okay.
The-
You talking about like the
the cartoon.
movie version.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I never saw that, but
I
yeah,
know you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's the. It looks like the guy with the axe.
I got you.
The beard.
okay. I didn't know where you were going with
Yeah,
that.
Hoodwink.
But yeah, but Joker is averaging a triple double. It's hard for me to look at that dude, and when you talk about who's the greatest centers of all time, it's hard for me to say him. But the more you look at his game, the more you look at his stats, the more you look at his run that he's on. God, it's hard not to put him in the conversation.
And he's young.
He's still young. He has a title. He got a title early on. So just like Giannis, that's a weight that's off of him. But you look at the numbers that he puts up, the efficiency. He's arguably I'd say top 3 best passers in the league. He shoots a high percentage from 3.
He controls the game.
High percentage. Yeah, he's a better defender than people give him credit for. He makes his teammates better. He scores 30s
At will.
and like you look at him like, what's his game? But he whatever he wants it to be.
But my question to you would be, and we talked about it with Luka, what's the longevity with the Joker? Because he's not in the best shape physically.
I feel like he's in better shape than we give him credit for.
No, for sure.
I think he's in better shape than Luka is. And I think he has a longer career than Luka does.
Leave Luka.
Plus, he already has a title.
But that's what I'm saying, because we do perceive him to not really care about basketball, right?
That might be what makes it so easy for him because he's not stressed. He's just chilling.
At what
And
point he'd be like, I don't care.
if it ended tomorrow, he'd probably like, let's go get some horses.
That's what I'm saying. Like, at what
Yeah.
point does he be like, okay, I'm done?
Yeah.
After he gets 1-2 more, maybe. I think
Well, it'll be tough for him to
I'm
get
just saying.
more.
Yeah.
But I'm saying right now he's crushing all the records.
He is.
He's what, second all time in triple doubles already. He's got a title. He's got 2 MVPs.
Yeah, I think
Probably
so.
would have had 3, but they got tired of him, so they gave it to
They
Embiid.
gave it to the All.
And now he's probably gonna get another. Well, I'm saying he might get another one. If worst case, he's gonna be top 3.
Yeah.
It's when you look at his window like right now. I mean, we always say Shaq, his little time, he was the most dominant player ever.
Well, he was.
But it was a very short window when he was the dominant Shaq. This Joker is doing stuff that he didn't do. And if you look at the numbers, his numbers are better than Shaq's. They just don't look as dominant.
The numbers,
Well, he's
based
not-
off this person I'm about to say,
Mhm.
I think Joker's numbers are better. But I still wouldn't put him over Dwight Howard.
What? Dwight Howard was not that.
Like, the Dwight Howard.
The Dwight Howard to me is not as good as the Shaq. I think they're right up there, but
Dwight Howard couldn't hit a jump shot to save.
he was a one-dimensional. He's
He
a
was-
great.
Man, let's talk
inside.
about the era he played in. Did
Like
he
I
have
said-
to hit a jump shot?
Well, but you're saying
He's actually played in this era too, though.
yeah. He
And
That is true. That is true.
like I
And,
said,
and what's
he-
funny is, who guarded the Joker when they won? Dwight Howard.
Wait, they didn't beat the Joker.
No, they beat. I thought they beat the Celtics.
No, they beat the Heat in the championship.
Yeah, they
But
did
the-
because that was.
but that's-
What I'm saying, when
That was
the
the cold
run,
year.
though, they had Dwight Howard guarding the Joker.
Oh, I mean, to me,
AD won't doing it.
well, I think
You talking about the
AD should have
Yeah,
been
they're like-
guarded. Yeah,
That's who should have been because
But-
he's more athletic.
but Dwight Howard was great. Like he's another one that had, if he had retired before he went to the Lakers,
Yeah, after the little drop off.
people would have him in that conversation
hard.
too. But he kept playing and he
Like I said, but
kept
his-
jumping teams, and then
Like I said, but his game was one dimensional.
it's very one-dimensional.
It was.
It's a lot like Shaq.
Yeah,
so
it was
early
similar,
Shaq.
very similar.
Yeah,
So
And he was just unguardable.
he was
I
dominant.
mean, he was quick. He
He-
was a big man. That was very athletic. I mean, but because he
Anything
didn't.
out the rim.
'Cause
Dwight
Oh yeah,
Howard.
he
Dwight
was going
got
to
it.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you got to remember, though, Shaq was what 7 feet, 300 plus, right? And that's kind. But you're looking at Dwight Howard, who was chiseled up.
Superman,
He
like
was like-
literally.
He was still a
he
monster though.
7? I mean, no, but he wasn't carrying all that
Oh, that low,
extra
yeah,
weight.
yeah.
He was all chiseled up with muscle. So when he was moving, You know, I give him that. 'Cause he'd be like, your feet,
Yeah.
you're 6'9" and his feet in your face.
Yeah, yeah, like this ain't
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
But again, I think if he would have been possible for him to just get a jump shot or to get
Then
the
we talking about him a little different.
yeah.
No, he didn't need the jump shot.
That was ain't
He
didn't
just
need it.
played too long. If he just stopped,
And that's
he messed up his legacy the longer he played.
I know that's something that some people hold against Shaq. His little drop off, his long
Well, his
drop off.
huge drop. Shaq,
Yeah.
listen, he was dominant when he was at Orlando.
And
He was really dominant
Lakers.
when he put it with the Lakers. Because again, when we talk about organization,
Right.
coach, and Kobe,
Last leg when he went to the Heat.
then when he went to the Heat that first year, he was in shape.
yeah.
Because remember, he wasn't in shape with the Lakers. This is one of
Right.
the reasons why Kobe was like, gotta get rid of this dude. He wanted to prove a point, got in shape,
When they won.
joined up with young Pete D Wade, who was the man,
Yeah.
got that title, and he started putting on a little weight.
That's where he should.
So-
That's
And
where
then
he
he
should
started.
stop.
Then he went on the Shaq team tour.
Yeah.
Go to
Celtics.
Cleveland, go to
Phoenix.
Celtics.
Yeah, like,
And that's when people were like, okay, Shaq,
Yeah.
when you gonna stop? Boston, like
Get my check. I'm just cashing checks.
Yeah.
baby.
everybody wants to see me. I'm gonna go
Right.
see how many teams
Nah.
I can play for.
So yeah, like I said, but so that again, way too early. But you did mention one of the dark horses. You said your boy got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, man, Tatum.
So but see,
I
haven't
think
watched
Shea
the
is
guy
up there,
play.
probably.
Shea for sure.
So
Shea
it's gonna
for
be.
sure.
What do you think about Ant? You think Ant doing anything?
I don't think Ant's having the same year that he had last year
No, I personally think
because of the trade.
they hyped Ant up too early. I think they hyped him up like they tried to hype up Paul George in the early Indiana days. He was really good, really young. They saw him going up against LeBron. They said, "Oh, this is gonna be the next dude."
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure to put on some. Now, I think Ant's mentality is way better than Paul George's because I think Ant really wants to be that dude.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's quite there yet, and I think they're gonna like they're putting too much on him. Like let him do
Let
his
him develop.
thing, see what happens. But yeah, I don't think he's quite there yet
I got a sleeper. I doubt that he
for
will.
MVP.
Yeah, I doubt that he will win it. The sleeper, because I like how he's playing. He has a different mentality. Cat.
Oh gosh. He's like, oh, don't be.
You know
He's
what?
Like he just popped the balloon.
If we need to take a.
In New York, he's looking good.
Here's what we need to do. We need to take a pot, right? A giant pot,
Mhm.
and we can put Embiid in there. We can put Cat in there. All of these finesse 7-foot jump shooting
I'm
centers.
gonna throw AD in there.
No.
AD doesn't shoot the number of shots he does, but you could maybe throw him in there.
Okay, depending on the day. Depending on the day.
AD's got a way better all-around game.
Okay,
than
he
him.
does. He does.
But Cat and Embiid are probably the two best shooting
Big man,
7-footers in history.
I give him that.
Clip.
They be.
But
Clear.
I need you to show me some dog, like you were talking
sure.
about.
I think Cat has been showing it with New York so far. So far.
He wanted to show me something.
I haven't
because
watched-
I am not a Cat.
Please tune in.
You know what? Cat
Tune in.
is great in the All-Star game.
Mhm.
When he's in the All-Star skills contest,
Mhm.
he's killing it.
But
But I don't want
What?
him as my center on a team I'm trying to win a championship with.
If they win one, he's getting it.
If they
What?
win one,
If they win this year, he's getting it.
okay, I'm gonna have to watch him play.
mm,
I haven't watched him.
I'm
Okay.
serious. Watch Cat this
Yeah,
year,
I'm gonna have to
man.
watch
He's
him.
looking good.
So this kind of leads into another topic, and we probably get off topic. So what about that trade that Philly made?
which
Didn't
trade?
they trade some people? No, that was New York. You're right. That was
Yeah, that was New York.
Because I thought Philly did some.
Well, Philly brought in
Philly
Paul
brought in-
George.
Yeah, I saw
A
that.
max player
And-
want to be a star.
He's hurt, man. Look,
I don't care.
he's a really
He didn't want to do it before he got hurt.
listen, he's a really good third option. Probably the best third option in the history of the league when he's healthy.
Well, he went from, well, that's bad to say because he doesn't even know that you had him as one of the best Robins. Now he's third.
Well, that's because he went to a team that has
A Batman. And a Robin.
supposedly the Batman, Embiid. And to me, he's getting into Kawhi territory for me because he never plays. He's not reliable.
Cash
And in the
check.
biggest games, he does not step up. Massey is the dog on that team.
Yes.
And Paul George is a perfect like complement because Tobias Harris couldn't get it done. If Embiid is at peak and you got Massey at peak, Paul George is perfect for that team because he'll play defense, he'll knock down shots. He does everything you want him to do. But he can't stay healthy. Embiid is unreliable. And I heard a rumor that Sixers, don't be surprised if the Sixers decide it's time to move on from Embiid.
Really? Wow. Who are they gonna get?
They
Are
can
just
get
gonna
a
let
lot
it-
of
Yeah,
pieces.
everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, you send him to a contender, you try to get some pieces,
You get the whole team back.
and you kind of start over.
Okay, so with that comment, what would be a team that would be truly interested in that? What contender?
Nobody right now.
I'm just saying, let's say
You mean if
hypothetically,
he's- if
let's say
he's at
hypothetically, he's at the peak
MVP level.
MVP level and they go to a trade, and let's say this is after
okay.
the
My
All-Star break.
question to you is: are we letting him go where he wants to go,
No,
or we're sending him where we want him?
no,
Either
no,
way,
no,
either
he's
way.
not- we're-
He can't.
So-
We're not letting him go to
to
a
Boston.
super team.
I'm about to say he's going to
No,
Boston.
he's not gonna
Yeah,
Boston.
yeah,
So-
we're
no,
not
you're
doing that. We're not giving him
Yeah,
like
we're not doing
that kind of.
So what I'm saying, if most teams do it, they want to get the most bang for their buck. Who you think? And again, this is all hypothetical because again, this is way too early.
Hmm.
Who would be the best fit for him?
Does he fit with Milwaukee?
No, because he takes up too much. Like you couldn't have him and Giannis.
Okay.
That wouldn't. I don't think that works. On paper, it works because you got three.
That's
But I don't
really what
think
I
it
was
works.
saying.
So think about this. Would it work if you put him in Dallas with Luca and Kyrie, but you got to gut the rest of the roster? You got to. Everybody else is gone. Anybody that's any good is gone to Philly. Would that big three work?
With the right role players, maybe.
I don't think that big three works because
No defense.
you got
He said no
exactly
defense.
because
Oh,
Embiid
yeah.
is too soft. Luka doesn't play defense. Luka's going to take a whole lot of shots, so
And
Embiid
Kyrie
ain't
can
go like
only
that.
move it so much at 6'1".
Yeah, but he can create a shot.
But what's funny about Kyrie, as much as I've had issues with Kyrie in the past, Kyrie would be the sanest one on that
He
team
would.
because he's the most reliable right now. Kyrie, knowing his role and knowing Embiid and Luka would never work in a million years.
Honestly, and boy, I know they wouldn't want to give him up, and he just got hurt. So sorry to hear that, but it doesn't put them over the top to be like, oh, we're gonna win a championship right now. But it bumps them up to about three or four. I would like to see Embiid in Orlando.
I think Embiid just messes up what they got going.
I like Franz and I like Paolo, but
They got a young team that's on the come up.
because he's not gonna want to go to Cleveland.
Well, again,
They're
we're not,
looking good.
we're not talking about where he wants to go. We're saying just
We're gonna get him
what
for the
would be a
bang
good
for the buck.
because if you put him, let's say you put him in Cleveland, whoever you put him with, you're gonna end up with a big three and then a garbage
You're gonna have Darius, Donovan, and him.
and then a bunch of garbage around him because you'd have to trade all those pieces. And you might even have to trade Darius to make that
That is true to make it up
and
money
so-
wise.
So again, I don't think Embiid puts any of those young teams. If I'm any of those young teams that have a good thing going,
You don't even want to trade for
I
him.
don't mess that up by bringing in
I'm
Embiid,
trying.
even though he's more talented than everybody you got.
Mhm.
I don't mess with that.
Phoenix? No.
That ain't working.
They don't even got
Because-
no money.
Well, I'm just saying,
That's true.
you'd have to. He doesn't work with KD. He doesn't work with
Bad,
look,
right.
like. I just think I'm not a big Embiid fan. I'm a fan of his
He
skill
can
set.
go to Brooklyn.
Sure, why not?
Why not come back, Ben? Come back home, Ben.
Go to Brooklyn. There can't be anywhere. But you know who's killing it for Brooklyn right now? Cam Johnson. He's putting up some numbers.
He do.
Yeah.
He do.
But Brooklyn is just another one that's like Charlotte,
Detroit,
Brooklyn,
one of those teams. now.
Detroit, it's just nothing. Like
He's not going to Portland.
Portland, just nothing, right?
Vacuum.
Yeah.
Portland definitely a vacuum. I ain't
Yeah.
heard Portland since Dame left.
They ain't got no shooters though, but they still end up winning sometimes. The Raptors.
Well, I forgot there was a team. Good Lord.
Man, the Raptors.
He said-
You know what? This is a honest guess for me.
Okay.
Indiana.
Well, right now, Indiana is horrible.
Indiana.
Like they have fallen back so far, you can't even find them on the page.
I'm just trying to think like who.
But he would work there because Halliburton is a
He's not
pass
sure.
first.
Exactly.
But
But what they giving up? Is they gonna just keep him?
well, that would help Indiana because
That's what I'm saying.
they've fallen off. They need talent. They've fallen off so much.
You can walk away from what's his name? Tall guy. They're 5. Got the
Oh, I know you're talking about the guy. I know about the curly hair, the guy who can barely score. I know you're talking about. I can't remember his name though.
what's his name?
I can't remember.
I know,
Was he
I
on
know.
team lead? Was on there last year?
Yeah, he was on there last year.
But they made that big run last year,
Yeah,
and
he didn't show up.
and they
That's what
are
you're talking about.
not.
Miles Turner. You get rid of Miles.
Oh,
Turner.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're not doing well
He's
at
from
all.
Oregon, right?
Miles Turner was
from-
from the University of Texas. Yeah.
Oh, he's from Texas. I thought they had another kid from Oregon on there.
Pascal, Sakim,
Oh, Siakam.
Siakam, Benedict,
Yeah, I remember Siakam. Okay.
James Wiseman. Don't care.
Wiseman is another one to do. What he went number 2. He went number 2 in the draft that year. Everybody thought he was going to be the next like stud big man.
Moses Brown.
But yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if that rumor is true, where you decide Philly's like, we're not gonna win the way this is set up now. Let's trade you while you got value, see what we can get, and maybe we get lucky and end up like OKC with a bunch of young guys. I mean, you don't have anything to lose because you're not winning with the way it
Well,
is.
that's gonna, well, like I said, if they're gonna move him, they need to move while he got value. They don't need to hold on to him when the value is left. So, but again, there's other people making that decision. So
Yeah,
it's a
not
rumor.
us.
Like I said, if there's a rumor, there's some truth to it. They just don't put those out there because normally when they say that, they looking for trade partners.
They're looking for somebody to bite the bait.
Yep. And so they can put they fishing.
Yeah,
Got one.
It's when you're trying to make your ex girl mad with the new girl.
right.
Came with.
Exactly.
They want somebody to call. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, yeah, so, but nah, man, so with that, basketball season is upon us. But pretty soon we'll be talking a little bit more about AAU. Then, of course, we'll be talking about
Women's basketball.
women's basketball. As my man AJ would say, ain't nobody watching.
Nobody
He said
cares.
because the stars are gone. So we need a new villain.
See,
We
that's
need a new
that's the
babyface.
problem. They got plenty of stars,
They just ain't
but
found
they
it.
don't have the villain and they don't have the story yet.
Yeah.
Yes, it'll happen. Like I said, but I know that they talking about the girl Juju a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Page.
Yeah, they talking about her. Paige Beckers, they talking about her a lot. So we need a villain. Somebody to set the
Yeah.
powder keg off.
Villains don't grow on trees. Villains don't grow on trees. And unless
Hold up, give me a wig.
yeah. That was the perfect storm with the villain and the hero, and I don't know that that's gonna happen.
Yeah. You need.
That
you
might be
need
once
the-
every 20
you need
years.
the best mix ever.
Yeah.
Like I said, they had it all. So yeah, so with that, like I said, again, another victorious, wonderful show coming to a quick close. Like I said, again, we thank everybody for watching. Please help us grow the channel. Like, share, subscribe, make comments. As we always say, we might just read them, but then again, we might not. We probably won't because we got daytime jobs, just so y'all know. But with that, 3 guys came together,
Organic.
organically to talk about sports from a novice point of view. So don't y'all be giving us no crazy comments either, because we might just block you. The whole 23 subscribers we got.
No, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that.
But if you got a topic you want us to talk about, we want to
Please.
talk about.
So yeah, throw them in the comment.
Give us some hot takes.
hot take.
Anything.
And for all you people out there stealing our content, we know you are.
Stephen A. Smith.
Mr. Smith and ESPN, y'all, I know y'all watching by somebody else's name because tomorrow we gonna hear about all this
Yeah.
tomorrow after we talk about it. So with that, like again, another great episode with these 2 wonderful guys and myself. Like I said, the Novice Sports Show. Like I said, like, share, subscribe. Like I said, we gonna sign off with
AJ.
and
Jay,
A-Dub. Like I said, enjoy.
peace out.